You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Mo Kelly. Another day, another senseless TikTok challenge. And unfortunately, this one doesn't end in laughs or lightheartedness. This one, in fact, ends in a horrible accident where a young girl, a 7-year-old girl, is the victim. The TikTok challenge is a challenge where people are taking something that is kind of like Play-Doh. It's a new type of Play-Doh. It's called knee dough, Needoh. And it's a squishy stress cube made of rubber with a polyvinyl alcohol filling. Well, that seems pretty innocuous enough. It's Play-Doh. You enjoy it, you squish it, you stretch it. That should be the end of it. But no. TikTok has started a challenge where they are encouraging people, for some strange reason, of course, likes and shares and follows, to put their knee dough in the microwave to heat it and get it to dissolve into a more pliable, malleable substance. The knee dough is kind of firm at first, and so people are wanting to loosen it up. That makes sense. But putting something that's polyvinyl and plastic into a microwave does not. Unfortunately, a young girl from Missouri named Scarlett Selby was left in a coma after the knee dough that she put into the microwave attempting to try this viral challenge exploded, covering her in the gooey substance. Her father, Josh, says, quote, "It all happened so quickly. I heard her scream and it was blood curdling." She lives in Missouri and again was copying this challenge that has gone worldwide. She saw it on TikTok and on YouTube. And she thought again, this young girl, Scarlett, that this would be something fun to do. First, she froze the Needoh cube the night before, and the next day she showed her parents. She stuck it in the microwave. Her parents, not suspecting what she was doing or even knowing what she was doing, weren't able to stop her before she opened the microwave and pulled it out. Of course, it was scalding hot, and when she took it out, it exploded. Her father ran to her and attempted to pull off the pieces of the goo, kind of wipe it away. But being that it was a scalding hot plastic goopy liquid, it had already adhered to Scarlett's skin. And as the dad was pulling off the Needoh, he also pulled off parts of Scarlett's skin with it. She sustained really bad injuries to her face and her chest. The manufacturer, Schilling Toys, hasn't yet responded, but they did issue a warning on their website that reads, quote, "Do not heat, freeze, or microwave, may cause personal injury." TikTok also warns on its site that the platform, quote, "doesn't allow the display or promotion of dangerous activities and challenges or violence." However, as these TikTok challenges go, many of them are dangerous and many of them do end in violence, like for this poor young girl, Scarlett Selby. Fortunately, she's healing, but she very well may be left with lifelong scars.
Yeah, those warnings are for just limiting legal liability, nothing more. I can appreciate that they put on the package, do not heat, freeze, or put in the microwave, but who actually reads packages? And if you're doing TikTok challenges, you're obviously throwing discretion to the wind. And it's an unfortunate story, but it's not an unusual story in this age of social media.
Here's yet another TikTok challenge story, which has every opportunity to go wrong. So far, knock on wood, not many instances that result in this sort of injury or anything, any other calamity. But this TikTok challenge is going to make all of us, I would say, north of 40, just shake our heads and throw our hands up in disbelief. What this TikTok challenge involves is eating those biodegradable packing peanuts that come in boxes with your packaging. Mo, you've seen those foam peanut-shaped packing nodules. They're not edible. Nope. We all know that.
Who define all? Because clearly not all of us know that.
I would say everyone north of 40, I hope, would know this is something you don't eat. However, there's a TikTok challenge going around to eat these biodegradable packing peanuts. And the thing about it is, it's not your run-of-the-mill white standard foam peanut. This one is a little different. There's a company, it's called Lush. They have different makeup, I think, and lotions, things like that. And they pack their products using something that they say is, in fact, somewhat edible, but they don't want people to eat it. Their packing scenario is that they use eco-friendly materials, and these materials dissolve in water and soil. They're made with a potato starch base, these peanuts. They look just like the other packing peanuts. Again, they are not to be a snack, but people online are taking to their cameras, recording themselves, taking out packaging, and then taking out these peanuts, these biodegradable peanuts, saying that they make for the, quote, perfect bedtime snack. They say that they are completely edible because they dissolve in their mouths. One person wrote online, hey, did anyone know that Lush packing peanuts are edible? Well, they're not, but they are being advertised online, on YouTube, and on TikTok as Eco Flow chips. Again, they're a potato starch base. One viewer actually said, hey guys, slow down. Biodegradable doesn't mean edible. Another said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And of course, Lush, the company, is saying, don't eat the packing peanuts, people. Please don't do that. But in the interest of likes, views, shares, and internet notoriety, people are risking bloating, pain, and gas because these packing peanuts are made with known carcinogens that can lead to more than bloating and gas, but also to cancer.
I really can't feel sorry for anyone. You know that it's not meant to be eaten. A reasonable person knows that biodegradable, as in won't sit in a landfill for the next 6,000 years, is not the same as edible. And if you're doing it as a challenge, you know that there is some degree of either danger or discomfort. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a challenge. They're not saying, hey, let's see if we can eat this oatmeal as a challenge. No, they're doing something where there is a degree of danger or discomfort, or both. And if you should eat some biodegradable packing material and it ends badly for you, who am I to feel sorry for you? I just can't. We've had too much internet. We've had too much TikTok for too long for folks not to know any better. And if you're going to engage in any of these challenges at this point, you know, God help you. Whatever happens, happens.
And just like you said, Mo, and I totally agree with that, there are warnings on the packaging, just like if you open a new pair of shoes that you might get that come with those little tiny itty bitty little balls in the little package, and it says, do not eat, very clearly. But people are, the entire part of social media in this case is predicated upon, like you said, ignoring these warnings in favor of trying some sort of dare. And these dares can really lead to a lot of personal injury and pain. But again, in the interest of growing your internet base, people seem to be willing to do anything.
When we come back, part 2 of the Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany, live on KFI's Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the toughest on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640, it's time for part 2 of the Viral Load as we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app with Tiffany Hobbs. Tiffany, take it away.
All right. So this next story involves a question about filming other people without their consent, even without their knowledge. This particular situation happened on an airplane, and we've seen quite a few videos go viral of people having issues on planes, encountering strange, perhaps other travelers with them on the plane in the cabin, or perhaps other sort of mental breakdowns that are recorded and then shared globally so everyone can watch and, of course, take part in their internet conversation. But it does, in fact, lead to the question of, is it wrong or is it illegal to film other passengers while traveling? There's a recent story that popped up, and it's out of Brazil. The Daily Mail is actually covering it, and it involves a woman who refused to give up her seat in the aisle to a toddler. She was asked by the family to switch seats with other airplane passengers, but she said no, she didn't want to give up her seat. She said she bought that seat fair and square, and she didn't feel the need to share it or give it up to anyone just because she was asked. Well, of course, this situation turned into a confrontation between the woman and the parents of the toddler. It was then filmed by other passengers and shared online. The woman is now saying that she was shamed and criticized because she refused to give up that seat to a crying toddler. And that shame and criticism has turned into something that she's endured online through threats and bullying and other forms of harassment. She has since taken legal action against the passenger who filmed her and the actual airline, Brazil's GOL Airlines, according to the Daily Mail. Now, the airline declined to comment because they don't want to involve themselves in something that's a legal proceeding. But the woman is saying again that it wasn't right for her to be filmed, and that in the interest of going viral, in the interest of sharing everything that one is seeing, and I know, Mo, you've said before, stop filming your crimes, people. Is it illegal? Is it wrong? Is it ethical to film other passengers while traveling? That is the question on everyone's lips.
No, that's actually 5 questions, and there are actually 5 different answers. I don't know whether the plane was in Brazil or international airspace, but as far as American law is concerned, you do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy when you are in public. If you're on a plane, you're in public. If you're in an airport, you're in public. That's the first thing. Is it wrong? Is it unethical? I think it's impolite. I think it's inconsiderate. You're on a plane, you might be sleeping, your hair's messed up, your mouth is open, you're drooling. It's inconsiderate. Now, if I were the young woman and the family came to me and said, hey, can you change seats with us because it's easier to manage our badass kid? I would hope that family would do me the courtesy, because I'm the one who's being inconvenienced. I'm the one who did pay for that seat, because we all have to pay for the aisle seat or the window seat, whatever, or the upgrade. So there is money out of my pocket. And you're saying because your dumbasses couldn't buy all your tickets early enough to get everyone together, that somehow I need to shoulder that burden and also take the loss on the seat that I paid for. No, that's unacceptable. There has to be some level of consideration. Hey, I understand that you paid extra for this seat. How about we give you $20, or, we'll pay for your Wi-Fi on the plane. There has to be some level of consideration. And that's something I would say out loud. It's like, you want me to move. I don't have a problem with moving, but I need to be compensated in some way because there was actual money out of my pocket. So legally, can they film that person? Probably. Is it inconsiderate? Probably. Is there anything morally wrong with it? No, not at all. But I think there is more blame on the family than the young woman who refused to give up her seat.
I agree. And I think that when issues like this are filmed, we are obviously usually only seeing one side of the information, which may be a confrontation from one vantage point. It might just be someone trying to explain or wager on the other side. But as this woman is saying, she is now being vilified in the court of public opinion because people are weighing in on what they think she should have done or could have done better. And now it is affecting her life. Something that won't affect your life likely is our last story, and it has to do with clothes. We all shop, whether you like to shop or you don't. You have your favorite stores or just your kind of run-of-the-mill routine items that you might pick up. Well, if you're interested in a new pair of jeans, but you're not really willing and ready to commit to jeans overall, boy, do I have something for you. Mo, I think this is your perfect summer attire for the office. Okay. Here we go. $440.
Nope. Stop there. I ain't paying much for nothing. But go ahead.
Get ready. It gets better. Jeans, denim, but only one full leg is clothed in that denim. The other leg is a short pant or shorts. You literally have the best of both worlds. You have shorts on one leg and you have full jeans on the other. I'm not interested, but apparently there are lots of people because these new jeans have sold out at a $440 price point, and they are going viral online for just how polarizing they are. There are people who hate them. I am probably in that ilk. I don't care. You don't hate them.
No, I don't hate them. If people want to be stupid, they're stupid. Just because you want to sell me a rock for $1,000 doesn't mean I have to buy it. I can take my own pair of jeans and cut off one leg and even sell it. Now, people want to buy it. That's on them. I don't hate the idea. It just would never get a dollar or a dime out of me.
And that's people are doing what you just suggested. They're cutting their own jeans in protest of this $440 tag, saying, I can do this. I don't have to pay that. Because again, they did sell out. They're from the brand Coperny. One leg denim trouser is the full name of it. Half boot cut jeans and one half jean shorts. And again, people are saying that this is something they never thought they would see. The brand says on their website that this is a, quote, radical departure from tradition. So people are picking them up. They also have a similar black trouser priced at $570. And the new fun thing for people to do is to go out and spend their hard-earned money on these jeans to go and show them off online. And again, like I said, people in protest are taking to their own closets and chopping up their own denim and saying, hey, if I'm going to be this kind of fashionista, then at least I can save a few dollars of my own and make my own jeans. But they are the new jeans. They are the new du jour hot thing on the fashion item. And you might see them coming to your office even. Mo Kelly, I would love to see you in one short side and then one long boot cut side. I think you could really get that trend started here at KFI.
Let me tell you in English, no. Let me tell you in Spanish, no. Let me tell you in German, nine.
Hell no. Hell no.
In like Russian, yet. No, it's not going to happen.
Nunca.
Tiffany Hobbs, always good to see you.
Great to see you, Mo.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And did you see the video? In fact, I'm going to put it up right now at Mr. Mo Kelly on Threads. This video of someone driving a truck, and it's a dash cam video, so it's his or her perspective, first-hand perspective, driving down this highway in the outskirts of Atlanta. And out of nowhere, you see this lightning strike, and you hear the power and force of that lightning strike. I think we've all seen lightning strikes out in the distance. Well, put it this way, I've never been around an actual lightning strike within 30 or 40 feet of me. And growing up, I would hear these stories about people who had survived lightning strikes, actual lightning strikes. And I said, wow, that must be pretty amazing. And you always hear lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. And then you see a video like this and say, damn, I'm glad it doesn't. Because if it did, you definitely have no chance of surviving it. So I just I'll say rethreaded, retweeted, reposted, whatever you want to call it, at Mr. Mo Kelly, this video, firsthand account, dashboard cam of this person driving at night. So it makes it even more spectacular. Driving at night, lightning strike right in the road, right in front of the truck. And the truck has to slightly veer to make sure it's not going to run into the aftermath of the lightning. That's how close it is. And then you'll hear the audio of it played slowed down. And then I'll also play a news report. It was pretty spectacular because I'd never seen anything like it. And this is one thing I do appreciate with cameras everywhere and the internet. You get to see things that you wouldn't actually see before. And before I played the audio of the video, I remember growing up and I used to be so afraid of lightning. And like most parents, my parents said to me, say, hey, if you see lightning, you can start counting 1001, 1002, 1003, and so forth. And then you would know how close or how far the lightning is from you with each successive strike. If you can count longer, you know it's moving away. If you're counting shorter, you know it's moving closer. So I got a better understanding of thunder and lightning because I used to have a big fear of it. Well, I think the fear is coming back because I had never seen anything like this. So here's the audio of lightning striking a truck about 30 feet in front of it.
A driver narrowly escaped a lightning strike while traveling along an interstate in Atlanta. Strong storms moved through the area as part of a powerful system that tore across the United States, producing violent tornadoes, wildfires, and dust storms.
Okay, and here's a news report surrounding it. It's not just us talking about it.
This morning, a driver in Georgia is safe after his truck was nearly struck by lightning.
Yeah, it was really incredible. Look at this. While he was driving here on I-285 Sunday, you can see that bolt of lightning strikes the ground maybe, my goodness, a few yards in front of him. He eventually, of course, moves over as fast as he can, being in a truck. But my goodness, he had to plow right through the smoke that was left behind.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add lightning strikes to the things that I could do without. We don't have a lot of electrical storms out here in California. Well, hell, we didn't have a lot of tornadoes, but we had one last week. So it just seems like California is going to be the place I want to stay unless it starts turning into other places around the country. If we're going to get as many tornadoes and lightning strikes and electrical storms as they do down south or back east, that I might have to move somewhere else because I just can't deal with those extremes. I didn't have a lot of time because I was over in the previous segment and I got a lot to say during my final thought. But if you get a chance, go right now to @Mr. Mo Kelly on Threads. If you haven't seen the video, it's pretty amazing. And then you can tweet it out or repost it or whatever that y'all do, whatever it's called on Threads.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Another reminder, I'm going to leave out of here tonight right after the show and try to get home and to sleep just as quickly as possible. Why? Because I'm in for Bill Handel tomorrow and Friday. Tawala will be in for me tomorrow and Friday. Hopefully I'll get 3 hours of sleep tonight. No guarantees. So if you should happen to tune in to Bill Handel's show tomorrow and I sound a bit loopy, you'll know why. But for my final thought tonight, I wanted to give some updated comments about Tesla. Now, as Tesla stock has fallen in recent weeks, members of the board and an executive at Elon Musk's company have been selling off millions of dollars in stock. And this is according to filings with the SEC. Together, 4 top officers at the company have offloaded over $100 million in shares since early February. James Murdoch, yes, related to Rupert Murdoch, his son, and a board member since 2017, James Murdoch, that is, exercised a stock option and sold shares worth approximately $13 million, according to the SEC, regarding a filing back on March 10th, which coincided, take it however you want, coincided with the stock's largest single-day decline in 5 years. Here's the bigger picture. Tesla stock is headed toward a 9th straight weekly drop. And shares now have plummeted 53% from record highs back in mid-December. The Tesla protests, we all know about them. The vandalism, we all know about them. But they've been growing in recent days. And with the White House and DOJ signaling that such acts are to be considered, quote unquote, domestic terrorism. And if you're wondering whether Elon Musk is concerned, his public behavior suggests that he is absolutely concerned. In a Fox News interview this week, Musk offered the following, quote, "It's really come as quite a shock to me that there is this level of hatred and violence from the left. I always thought that Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy and caring, and yet they are burning down cars, firebombing dealerships, firing bullets into dealerships, smashing up Teslas," close quote. Whereas it's easy and reductionist to say that the boycott and vandalism are acts of political violence and specifically from, quote unquote, the Democrats. Not so simple. The Doge cuts cross all demographics and impact people registered to both parties. To suggest the anger over loss of jobs, benefits, and 401k valuations is only attached to registered Democrats, that may be politically expedient, but it would also be remarkably dishonest. I can promise you the sell-off of Tesla stock is not a Dem party thing. I can promise you that the veterans impacted and angered are likely not predominantly registered Dems. The Doge cuts have been far too vast, far too wide, and deep to argue that the only angry people in the streets or anger against the Tesla brand are registered Dems. The only people who are committing violence are registered Dems. That defies explanation and mathematical logic. Now, I know it caters to your political worldview if you happen to be a Republican or a MAGA supporter, but it defies logic. Also, Elon Musk is not in any way attempting to endear himself to those most affected, either insulting them directly like Senator Mark Kelly, or more generally, railing against decency or empathy. He definitely can't have it both ways. I personally would never support and would never recommend violence or vandalism. Never. But I absolutely can understand and point to the catalysts which often lead to it. Musk also said, quote, "It turns out when you take away people's money that they are receiving fraudulently, they get very upset. They basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud, and they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. Well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people do bad things," close quote. Actually, I'm not sure if he meant that as an accusation or a confession, because that cuts both ways. But I digress. In any event, as I've said before, and I will say again, Elon Musk has not conducted any forensic audit or shown any proof of any fraud. He's listed fraud. He's alleged fraud, but he's never shown any proof. He's alleged fraud and required we take his word for it, while also avoiding touching any of his contracts with the federal government. But he will have to make a decision as to what's most important, and it's his to make. I can't make it for him, and no one can tell the richest man in the world what to do, so it's up to him. He can be an agent of Donald Trump and continue to ruin the people's professional and personal lives without justification, without evidence, without empathy, and deal with the social ramifications of such, or he can step down as president and CEO of Tesla for the sake of his investors and the future of the company. But he will not get the latitude of continuing with Doge, mocking his detractors, placing blame elsewhere, and expecting that Tesla not pay a price for its association with him. There were already inspectors general to do exactly what Doge claims to be doing right now. They literally are tasked with finding fraud, waste, and abuse. But also, there are official verification and execution processes for it to be done correctly, legally, and transparently. Elon Musk is not doing any of that. America and Americans have no responsibility or obligation to just take Elon Musk's word that he is ridding our government of waste, fraud, and abuse. And it's being done without favor or political preference. Nobody is obligated to take his word for it. Nor are we to cry tears over the struggles of Tesla while he mocks the very people he fired and their struggles. No empathy for me, none for thee. Fair is fair. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.